Hello again everyone and welcome back to Skyblock News. I'm your host Derailious, and today we're going to be going over some very good stonking changes that should make the vast majority of the player base extremely happy. Before we begin, I just want to say please make sure to like and subscribe down below as it really helps out the channel a lot, and use code RAIL on the Hypixel store for 5% off your order. Without any further ado though, let's get started. First, I do want to go over the thread here on the forums because I feel like it is pretty important to discuss. The first and most important thing is that after reviewing community feedback, they made this change. Stonking is now client-side. It is basically vanilla mining and should result in no latency while mining. Please test this out for yourselves. Dungeonbreaker changes. The Dungeonbreaker now has 20 charges. Charges now regenerate at 2 per second. You are not limited to only breaking 20 blocks. Just be aware that upon breaking the 21st block, the first block broken will regenerate. And here is some other feedback that they want to address. First, they have considered an upgrade line to the Dungeonbreaker multiple times. They initially decided against it as they thought an upgrade line wasn't necessary, when their goal was to seamlessly integrate Stonking into latest versions. However, they are aware that there's definitely progression potential within the Dungeonbreaker upgrade line, and are open to having upgrades to the Dungeonbreaker. To make Stonking a bit more purposeful and interactive with secrets, they are considering the following upgrade: a new Wither Essence shop perk, Echoes of the Lost. You gain 1 to 5 charges on your Dungeonbreaker after collecting a secret, and it costs 250, 500, 1000, 2000, and then 5000 Wither Essence to upgrade. Let us know what you think about it. They are aware that players want to have ghost blocks in F7. With the client-side Stonking fix, there shouldn't be much time loss if you were to just break the route again. Let them know, obviously, if you run into any issues related to this. They are aware that players may want to be able to break blocks in puzzle rooms. While they will not be granting this, they can offer the following compromises. They can let tic-tac-toe not be Stonking reliant, which I think is great, and they fix the boulder puzzle not being able to be reset by an architect's first draft, despite being effectively bricked. They are aware that new Stonking prevents players from pre-entering the dungeon, or 0-second blood, which may result in slower runs. They do not plan on allowing this functionality because they believe it's not a fair game mechanic to access the dungeon before the game starts. I think overall, this is great. These are very, very great changes. Now, let's hop in game to discuss further. So here we are entering into a dungeon, and I will say the alpha is extremely laggy, so this will be great for testing the new Pingless functionality of the Dungeonbreaker right here. As you can see, it only has 20 charges, and if I enter into this dungeon, which is in fact very, very laggy, it does in fact work perfectly, and as you can see, it is a laggy dungeon, so I think they did a great job on this. I have no problems with the current implementation. I think it can't... Oh, actually, it does actually seem to work on wood as well. I was initially a little concerned that it wouldn't work as well on wood, but it seems like it's working just fine. Overall, the Dungeonbreaker seems to be in a great spot then. I don't really have any other concerns or things to really discuss. You know how this thing works at this point. The only issues people really had with it, other than the fact that it was ping-related or ping-dependent, was that you couldn't 0-second blood. But it seems pretty clear that the admins do not want you to be able to do that, and I of course understand why. Obviously, that is a major glitch that kind of ruins the integrity of the dungeon in the first place, being able to get out of bounds. If you're a speedrunner, listen, I'm sorry, but this is the type of situation where you just need to make a new category for everything past the release of the Dungeonbreaker, and it's a change that the admins seem to want to make. I do understand why they want to do it, though, because being able to go through the dungeon before it even begins does feel a little bit excessive. Overall, I've got to hand it to the admins. I think they did a pretty great job with the current iteration of the Dungeonbreaker. The goal here is clear. Make dungeons more accessible to the average player, to people who have not usually interacted with these features before, and I think they did a great job without compromising too much in other areas. Obviously, PBs may be a little bit worse in the future, but if that's the price that we have to pay, so be it. Frankly, 0-second blood was a little crazy anyway, and probably should have been patched a long time ago. I would love to hear what you guys think about this in the comments down below. I myself did not believe at first that they would be able to get this to be pingless, and they did it. So props to the admins, great job. Once again, would love to hear what you guys think. Make sure to like, subscribe, use code RAIL on the Hypixel store. Also, don't worry about the Terra changes. Those were probably just not on alpha because they're already done, and I don't think they need to test them again. So those will probably come out when the next update does. At the end of the day, though, my name's Derailious. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end, and look to the future, fellas. I'll see you then.